do. Man, that song just ends abruptly, doesn't it? Just out of nowhere. Goes, shoop. Well, goodbye. Hi, hello. Hi. Welcome to the first official stream of the first full day of fall. It is gonna be awesome. I have so many plans for this fall season. Hopefully it lasts the whole time because, as you all are fully aware, I am a mad woman and cannot be stopped. Except by chronic joint pain. Oh, I had music that was gonna play in the background. You guys digging the new intro? YouTube says it's copyright free. However, I am not sure if Twitch uses the same free copyright free laws as YouTube does. So if random bits of the stream are muted, don't worry, they will be posted later on YouTube, hopefully unmuted. Let me know if the background music gets too loud or too quiet. Yeah, let me know. Now, to make up for the fact that I didn't have any sketches planned for the day, yes, this isn't totally improvised and off the cuff. What are you talking about? I thought it'd be a good idea to go over, before we start the spooky season, to look back and reflect on our previous endeavors during the season because, as it's said in the title, today, or tonight, because Jewish days begin at sundown, tonight is Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year. Well, technically it's one of 4 New Years, but this is the big one we celebrate, so it's technically our 4th of July. 4th of July, what? No, our January 1st. First day of the year. Sorry I banged into my desk. I got a new seating arrangement, and it makes me like 3 inches taller, so I'm not used to actually sitting up this high. Hopefully, excuse you? So I thought the cats were fighting. Anyway. So, we will be doing that, talking about the old art and my plans for any future art. Let's start where any story should, with the beginning. So, right here is I'm gonna use the, where is it? Hand tool, because the reason why the stream today is under just chatting and not art is because I'm not actually making any art today, I am just chatting. Today's stream might be a little bit shorter. Definitely more of a yap session, though. So look forward to that. Is the music even playing? It says it is. Hello, Waffles! My head is obscuring the chat. I guess this version of me is taller. That's funny. Anyway, yeah, hello, Waffles. New model, new look, new year, new me. Happy Rosh Hashanah. Cheers. This pumpkin spice mix that I got, I didn't realize this, the serving size for this powder is 1/4 cup. Yeah, 1/4 of a cup. That's like 3 tablespoons. Usually a serving size for that kind of powder is a teaspoon. Nah, 1/4 of a cup. And it comes in a tin that's like the size of my mug, so I'm just, I'm trying to make it last as long as possible, but today, I actually tried to use the 1/4 cup, and instead of using water, I used coffee. And oh my. Oh my. It's good. Anyway. So, I can't remember what year this is, but I'm going to assume it was at least 3 years ago, because my signature here was Steamorph way back in the day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I had, on my YouTube channel, there's a speed paint for this piece that you can go find somewhere. Somewhere, it's on my YouTube. It depends on what it is. I don't think eating basically 3 tablespoons of a mystery powder is healthy. Oh yeah, the calorie intake on that powder is through the roof. I just gulped 300 calories, I'm pretty sure. But it tastes good, so I don't know, man. It's first day of fall, I get to be gluttonous, and it's Rosh Hashanah, so we definitely get to be gluttonous today. Remember to eat your apples and honey if you are of that Jewish persuasion. Alright, back to the actual art. The characters involved are 2 of my pumpkin characters, Abigail and Abraham. I have talked to them at length on my YouTube channel before, but this is the first time on my Twitch channel, so basically the joke is, I made like an Instagram, it was like Snapchat or Instagram, I think it was Snapchat. I was messing around with the filters, and there was a pumpkin one, and it made your voice all funny, and I was like, so I made the joke, is it technically cannibalism for a pumpkin to drink pumpkin spice? And then the whole idea just came to me, so I made these 2 colonial inspired, because that's just how it happened, of cannibal pumpkins. And I probably might have to censor the word cannibal, even though this is in a candy gore aesthetic. They're pumpkins eating pumpkins. Pumpkin heads eating pumpkins. That's not the most horrific thing. Why is my chat not working? Hang on. Technical difficulties. Oh yeah, sure, freeze. That's a good idea. Anyway, well, moving on. Trying to anyway. It may be the Jewish New Year, but it's still the same old computer and technical difficulties, bro. What the hell? Why are you frozen? Why is it, laddie? Yep, well, I'm just gonna have to pray that the chat box still works so I can still read it. Anyway, I'm going to say this is probably 2020 because I was trying to do a lineless art style for my illustrations, and bro, look at the pixelation on this thing. This is not how I do bushes anymore. Okay, yeah, I saw that. It said, wait, the chat isn't working? Because I didn't see your 3rd message. I just saw new model, mystery powder, and now the chat box not working. There's like a whole message in there that I missed. The Twitch chat, that's all it's showing. And I was trying to bring it up on Streamlabs, and it looks like the guy on the side is just deciding not to go to work today. So maybe if I just make that window bigger and just read it. Oh, you just said it's very cute. Okay, yeah, thank you. Oh my god, stuffed. Is it really a rune stream if it ain't stuffed to high heaven? Let's not break tradition. I will say, I am very proud of the sky in this piece. To say what I like about it first, and then get into the critiquing. Because let's be positive. I do like the sky. Like, the colors, the sunbeams reaching out. It's supposed to be sunset, so it's very, to give it, like, kind of spooky. The lighting on the characters, like, I would do it differently now, since I was doing a lineless art style, so trying to keep them on all separate layers so I could render everything was very, difficult. I remember this piece taking me a good few hours. And the pumpkins, I did really like doing. These backgrounds took 5 years to do because I was doing a lineless art style. In the future, if I'm gonna do a, air quote, lineless art style, I think what I'll do is do lines anyway, and then render everything on top. Like, painterly wise. So, in the future, that is what I'll do. The anatomy was also, the hands, y'all know me in hands. The hands were absolutely devastating for me to try and work with. Because, bro, what are these? What is that? Oh god, and there's bits you can see where I erased and then didn't fully get all the bits and pieces that were still stuck. Nostalgia though. Now, I had designed these characters. I didn't design them specifically for this piece. I designed them in the hopes of creating, like, a little story for them. That just ended up not happening. And I made this piece specifically to make this piece. And this piece was like, what I wanted to be, like, the main, like, that was my main video for Halloween that year. I'm pretty sure I did upload it on the 31st. I added a whole bunch of extra little edits to it to make it spooky. And it was really fun. Now, it is definitely a lot more simple than the first piece. But I wanted, yeah, her name's Abigail. I wanted Abigail to be the focus with, you know, a little pumpkin lady sitting across the table from viewer with a pumpkin pie, and right behind her, the crucified corpse of her husband. In a, I think this is supposed to be corn. Although you can tell I airbrushed in the details very, hastily, because I just could not. Backgrounds and I did not quite get along as much as they should have, and I should, these scarecrows in the back needed to be desaturated. I did spend a lot more time than usual on the lighting and just the overlay of it, trying to add texture. This is, yeah, before I really figured out how to draw texture, because this was when I was still in the early phases of working on my comic. And once I had worked on Path to Brighter Stars for, like, oh god, we're up to 4 years now. I really have, I think personally, have gotten a grasp on texture through color and then just overlay through shading. Because what I used to do, I tried to do the texture through the shading, which then I would only use an airbrush, and it kind of made things look a little blotchy. But at the time, I was very proud of how this piece turned out. I still like that she's got a little hair curl. One thing I will say, though, with myself, that I am slightly disappointed with myself on this fact, is I've been drawing pumpkins wrong my entire life. Pumpkins, their little stem is not brown, it's green, and what I was drawing is a tree stump. This is a tree stump, not a little pumpkin stem. Slightly disappointed with myself. However, we live and learn. You can see in the bottom, well, you can't see. You can see. In the bottom left of the screen, I have drawn a better pumpkin with a green stem that looks actually like a pumpkin. Because I've grown them this year, and my pumpkin patch is 20 strong. Holy crap, we're gonna have so much pie and bread and muffins and maybe some cookies this year. It's gonna be baking central in my kitchen. So those two were 1 year, and I can't remember if I did this for Halloween the next year or just later in the year, but then I created and drew this character, Angel. Which, yes, these two are the same character, same form. And Angel is inspired by the Destroying Angel mushroom. Which, if you don't know, is highly poisonous and is actually quite terrifying if you read the side effects. If you even eat a nibble of a mushroom in an entire pot of soup, it has enough toxins to kill you within 8 hours of consumption, and where it slowly shuts down your internal organs, and you just drop dead, basically. It is a 60 to 80% mortality rate, but then again, the bitch about mushrooms is that they all look exactly the same. The Destroying Angel mushroom looks almost exactly like a button mushroom when it is young, so you have no idea. The only way to tell it, a Destroying Angel, between a death cap and a button mushroom is bell shape, gills, and texture. Which, how the hell are you going to tell the texture of a mushroom unless you break it and start handling it, fiddling with it? It also has a chalky flavor. Well, that's unhelpful, saying it has a chalky flavor, because it's already in your mouth. Guess what? You're dead, sucker. Anyway, I made an entire video talking about how mushrooms are bitches for having their neurotoxins be and being completely indistinguishable from each other. Now, the composition of this piece is quite simple. I tried to keep it centered, but I should say it's slightly off-centered because I wanted the posing. But Angel's monster design in this bit, I'm just super proud of. Because, oh my god, you see if I zoom in too much, you'll just see pixels. But you can see the organs and the ribs poking out, even though the ribs would be up here. But she's an angel, so she can have as many ribs as she likes, and she also has wings. Just showing how she starts off as this cute little innocent creature that will offer you mushroom stew, and then later turns into this terrifying beast that eats your organs. I don't know what it is with me, and, well, now it's part of the lore, but I've always, if I wanted to add a horror element to a character, I've always had something black and inky dripping from them. And it might just be because I started my adventure in horror with was it FNAF? Yeah, I started with FNAF, but it really kicked off with Bendy and the Ink Machine. And anytime they were drawing Bendy in this cool, monstrous form, there was ink dripping everywhere, and I was like, oh my. I absolutely love that. We always bought pumpkins for the autumn seasons, no carving, just for decoration. I swear those bitches would last until spring, like, less in shape, not by a pumpkin state. Yep. Well, there are some pumpkins, like boo pumpkins, that are small and white, and they basically, you can't really use them for anything. They are purely decorative. And I had a boo pumpkin on my desk for decoration for almost half a year before I decided to throw it away because it went from white to yellow slowly over the months, and that I knew it was rotten. If I cracked it open, man, the smell would have killed me. And that's funny. Yeah, pumpkins, you can pick them and then just leave them somewhere for a good while because their skin is so thick and moisture locking. So I wouldn't eat it. Like, as soon as you pick it, I think you should start carving out its guts and whatnot. But yeah. And those were my Halloween specials at the beginning of the channel. Now, which one was next? I think it was just those three. That was the one that next year because I guess I was busy or didn't feel up to it. But then the next year, ooh boy, I went ham last year with not one, not two, but 4 major pieces, not with just with speed paints, but with video essays in tail. Some of you might remember those videos. They are still up on the channel, where I talked about different I was making like a video a week until Halloween, which led up to my big video that I'm still super proud of. I'm very disappointed that it didn't get more views. Until I checked, it was restricted by the YouTube algorithm. And this was when I was still Rune Steomorph. See the Steomorph signature. And this is when I had, like, my Sona had lore with butterflies and whatnot, and being canonically dead. And brought back to life with the green butterflies. And in that video I talked about how, I can't even remember what the video was about. I was talking about the history of butterflies and their connection to horror or something, like their connection to witches. Mostly moths, but like where the name butterfly came from and the history of all that. I could recount it here, but I'd do a much better job in the video, so go watch. YouTube channel is linked in my about page. So go check it out there. I don't really have much to say about this piece. The only thing I don't like... Okay, let's start with what I do like. I do like the line art that I did. It was very, there's a stray pixel there. Ah! It's very, it's not as heavy-handed as I usually do. And I wanted it to, like, I wanted the line art to be minimal. I still wasn't doing colored line art back then. But I wanted the line art to be sort of minimal, kind of thin, so I could focus on the colors and the glowing butterflies, especially putting them in the guts. I know the rib cage is floating and should actually be a little bit higher. Anatomy schmatamy. It looks cool. This is also a reference to one of my favorite My Little Pony creepypastas. If you know, you know. It's been a while since I've looked at this piece. I do kind of like the background, how it's a mix, how most of the piece is green, but the background is orange and purple to match my Sona's hair, which for the piece I probably should have desaturated a little bit more, just so the green would pop a little bit, and with the red to draw your eye into her face. She's also not quite centered. I'm just realizing that she's slightly off center. God dang it, that's gonna bug me. Haha, get it, bugs, cause butterfly, yep. I'll kill myself. I'll see myself out. When this was back in the day when I was desperately trying to add lore, and also trying not to add lore. We seem very positive or look back to my old art and can point everything I absolutely hate about it. Well, here's the thing that you gotta remember when remaining positive about your past work. Imagine, okay, when critiquing and looking back at your past work, imagine you were saying and talking to your younger self as if they were a child. And would you say all of the negative things you say about your past work if it was someone else? Because technically it was someone else. The fact that you're looking back at your past self and cringing means you have grown. It means you've changed, you've improved, or maybe disproved. It doesn't matter. Because change is not does not happen in one direction. It's in fact quite the enigma. Thank you, Dardoris. Welcome to the stream. Yes, I worked hard on this PNG model. 5-hour live stream. So that's what I try. There's two things I try to remember when looking back at my old art. Would I say that if it was someone else's art? And the fact that I can point out what is good and what is bad and what I miss about my old art style shows that I have improved, that I have changed over the years. And in this case, over the year, because this was last year. Like, 1 year difference between this piece and, what I currently work on. One thing I do miss about last year, Rune, was the fact that I was basically creating non-stop. And that is one thing you gotta remember, the positives, the why I was creating, why I was so passionate, why I thought it was a good idea to create, to write, to research, to script, and draw, and edit, and voice, and render 4 whole major art pieces with video essays in a singular month. why I thought that was a good idea. Because it was a good idea. I did it. I had fun. It was amazing. Sure, half those videos got restricted, and I was fighting with copyright because I wanted to play 10 seconds of a Jefferson Airplane song in one of my videos, and then the next video where I played 10 seconds of the Headless Horseman and didn't get a copyright strike was so frustrating to me, but hey, I was having a grand old time. Speaking of, where is the next piece I did that year? Okay, after Butterflies, I drew Angel again. And this was the video where I was talking about mushrooms. Now, this piece, the reason why it is so simplistic is, A, I didn't know what to draw for my video, because I don't draw Angel that much. I've only ever drawn her for Halloween. Which is kind of sad because she's a very cute character, and I think she's on Art Fight. Yeah, she is. She's on Art Fight, and I just have not drawn her all that often. And her lore is actually quite terrifying, so it's like, why haven't I done that? I'm sorry, Angel. That in the video wasn't really about the spooks. It was talking about personification and why mushrooms are bitches. So yeah, for every hit, there's also a miss. Now, I will say, this is when I was really getting into... I do like how this tree looks, and how it kind of looks like a Polaroid. Same with the camera glitch. If I was really wanting it to glitch, I would have added more of a distortion on the monster angel, but I wanted this angel to still be kind of clear, so you could see what it was instead of just being a white blur. While she was here trying to, like, welcome you in. If I had to redesign... one thing that I would redesign is her house. Because this does not look like a cozy cottage that would that you would willingly go into to invite you in for soup. But I was kind of rushed, and I wanted to get on to the next few pieces. Which was... Was it... No, that one? That one. This one, yes! And this was the video where I was talking about the history of Thanksgiving and the major role that pumpkins had to play. I, to this day, still love this piece. I went hard on the lighting. Excuse me. It's basically a prequel between... It's a piece that chronologically goes in between this piece and... Excuse me. And this piece. Because there's poor Abraham. There's Abraham dead. There's his little head. Rest in peace, Abraham. Left us too soon. He's gonna be turned into a bot. I was still doing the tree trunk stems for the pumpkins. But they're at least in better shape than the previous few. And the backgrounds, I think, look a lot better. Because I actually used line art and was coloring the line art to offset them from the... Yeah, this is colored line art too. From the main character who I wanted to be the main focus. So if I put her line art in black and everything else had colored line art, I was hoping that she would pop out more. It also helped with the rim lighting around her from the moon. Which I don't know if you can see. I made the clouds look like a hand. This is a reference to Legend of the, not Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the Disney version. What was it called? The Adventures of Mr. Toad and Ichabod, no, was it Adventures of Ichabod Crane and Mr. Toad? Or was it The Adventures of Mr. Toad and Ichabod Crane? Either way, that was a reference to that. Because I love that movie so much. Still Skiomorph. Now, if I were to change, like, if I were to redraw this as is, same composition and everything, I would put the rim lighting in the line art. And I think that's, and draw the pumpkins differently, of course, because where are the leaves? Where are the little shoots? I think this is supposed to be hay or corn or something. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. And I would also make the piece a little wider to fully fit the pumpkins in so that they can frame the picture. And instead of making this frame just the line tool with the color, I'd probably draw an actual harvest theme frame. Kind of like the one I have on stream right now, but probably less detailed. So yeah, composition, I'd change that. Coloring wise, I'm pretty happy with how the lighting is. I would just, instead of rim lighting with a highlight layer, I would put it in the line art, because that would really make her pop. And I think, yeah, we're supposed to be smearing, like, something there, I don't know. I think I would also change her pose, but I'm not sure how I would change it, because she's supposed to be walking up the hill. And I'm not sure how I would alter that, because I also don't know what they look like under their clothes. Like, are they pumpkins that just sprouted limbs and are just an amalgamation of twisted, dried vines underneath the dress? Or do they have actual anatomy? And why does this pumpkin lady have boobs? I don't know. Stop asking questions you don't want answers to. Give pumpkin ladies boobs! You can put tits on a bird, it's okay. So this one is, I'm still very proud of this one. However, it is not the one that I am the most proud of. The one that I am absolutely, without a doubt, the most proud of that batch is, of course, the Headless Horseman, the 4 Headless Horsemen piece that I did for my main video talking about the mythology and history of this folklore character. Now, I didn't notice I did this. My sister pointed it out to me. But the fact that there are 4 riders on horseback, one being white, green, red, and blue-black, they're also kind of like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I didn't realize I did that when I was coloring them. I was just trying to be, you know, referencing the different types of ghosts and ghoulies that these guys represented in their culture. Like, of course, in the center, we have the Headless Horseman from The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Mostly from the Disney version, because he's got the red cape and the red line art with the pumpkin. He's the only one described with the pumpkin. All the other Headless Horsemen have no gourds in sight. I am still insanely proud of that video. Horses are so hard to draw. Holy shit! When preparing this piece, and, like, also just to get some B-roll for the video, I had an entire page dedicated to just practicing drawing horses and so, like, the people on horseback, because I don't really draw horses or people on horseback that often. So let me tell you, that was hard. It was difficult. Oh my god. And the fact that my voice was also slowly dying. I'll be honest, I was slowly dying doing all these voiceovers week after week. And the pumpkin one definitely took it out of me because, oh my god, I was just laughing too hard when I heard about why Thanksgiving is when it is. It was so funny. And this one, this piece specifically, oh my. One thing I don't like about this piece is trying to make everything look misty and trying to make the Dualahan in the back look shrouded is when you use the airbrush, you get these odd pixel layers, even if you have anti-aligning on or off. It doesn't matter if it's on or off. You're gonna get these weird pixel bits that make it look like a topographical map, which are really annoying, easily avoidable. I don't know how to do it. But yeah, I'm insanely proud of the video. I am still proud of how, I'm really proud of how this horse turned out, how this horseman turned out, because this one is an actual historical figure. Don't mind the blood, YouTube. This one is an actual historical figure from Irish folklore. I can't remember his name, mostly because I can't pronounce it, because Gaelic names are, holy god, really hard for an English speaker to pronounce. And I think this one's from German? I don't remember. There's different... Yeah, this one is German, because not only was the rider headless, but the horse was headless as well. Because it was a restless spirit that still had some unfinished business to attend to. This is where I also found out that Ghost Rider is basically kind of like a headless horseman. Where Marvel even said that the original headless horseman was a Ghost Rider. And I was like, ooh, my character designer is tingling. So I started working on a character design that I was going to do for like a live stream, but I couldn't figure out how to make his design work. And that's Isaac. If you follow my toy house, you'll find there's a character named Isaac, and he's been there for like 5 years now, and he still does not have an official design, because behind the scenes, I've tried to design that boy, like, 5 different times, and I still have not been able to make it to work the way I want it to. I'm slowly losing my mind. Maybe this year, it'll finally happen. I don't know. Alright, it was that one, that one, and that leads to this one. Completely shifting gears. This one was more cutesy. I don't remember... Yeah, this one was also that same year. That year was one hell of a trip. It was the same year, but this one wasn't attached to any video because this one was going to be for my furry account, which no longer exists. This one was fun in a different way because I wasn't going to kill myself over the details in the background. These, if you see, these corn stalks are all copy-paste. I drew like 2 different corn husks and just went copy-paste, and then just gradient the background because I just could not be bothered to draw that much corn. Same with the tent. I just did some lighting and went, nope, I don't know why these mountains are here, but they are. because I wanted the focus to be on the characters. You can't quite see. Yeah, there you go. On the characters. These are all my characters for my furry group. And I thought it'd be really cute if they were at like some sort of harvest carnival in costumes. You can see Doom here. Doom the Tidon is dressed as like a maple tree theme. Steven, her youngest child, is dressed like a little acorn, which is adorable. Adelaide is dressed as Wonder Woman. Erica is dressed as Erica from Princess and the Pauper. If you notice, all of my kitty dogs are named after Barbie movie characters because I just love the idea. And Ivanova, who is my Drecubus character. She's also my fall OC. Like, everything about her design is inspired by fall. So, I will be drawing her again this year. I do have a list of plans that I want to... a list of plans that I want to work on. However, I don't know how some of them are going to turn out. Excuse me. Because I have two characters that need designs. I have absolutely no idea how to fix it. So they're probably going to be near the end. Or in October. Because that's the thing. That's one problem with having very seasonal themed artworks. If you don't have an idea for a seasonal theme, you're just not drawing it that year. Now, what I could get away with it and just draw a bust of the character, because I have drawn Ivanova, like a bust of Ivanova just holding a pumpkin, and I thought that was cute, you know, good enough. Just draw them in their Halloween costumes. I do have an idea for another piece, and it would be the other characters that are in this group, mostly the teenagers, in the corn maze. Notice how I spelled maze. That's a pun. And it'd be like some sort of like connective story over the years. So that's plans for this year. I think this is all the specifically Halloween themed art that I have done over the years. I do have a few more to show you, but they're different because they're not exclusively Halloween. They're creepypasta themed. Specifically, I've drawn a bit of fan art for... Where is it? I've drawn a bit of fan art for My Little Pony creepypastas. Now, this one is kind of a redo of some old fan art that I drew years ago that I don't have anymore. Unfortunately, I do not have the art on my computer anymore, but it is on my DeviantArt. And it is for... This is my favorite My Little Pony creepypasta of all time, and that is the Apple Sleep Experiment, written by Magpie Pony. Oh my god. It is incredible. The horror, the characters are written very well. Just the way the gore is described, the production of the video is amazing. I highly suggest, if you can handle internet, you know, levels of gore and creepypastas, I highly suggest you listen to the Apple Sleep Experiment. Even if you're not a My Little Pony fan, if you just kind of dissociate from the fact that they're ponies, it is still an amazing creepypasta. Just on the horror element of it by itself. Same with Something Sweet to Bite. Although Something Sweet to Bite is more tied to the lore in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. But it's still really good. So that was one. And the other one I did for part 2, while I was listening to the first... I finished part 2. Now, there's no gore here. But this is for another Apple Sleep Experiment, or Apple Sleep Experiment Part 2. And this was before the story had finished, so I hadn't really figured out how to draw the characters, or like what to implement for the lore. Now that the story is finished, and now that I know like all the foreshadowing that was set in place, I really want to come back and draw more fan art for that story, because oh my, it is so that I don't want to give any spoilers, but it was not what I was expecting at all. Now, it didn't terrify me. It was just like an interesting story. Something Sweet to Bite did terrify me. So, that's fun. And so far, that's all of the fan art that I've drawn, because as you guys know, I don't really draw that much fan art, and I don't really, I just don't do it. I want to, I get ideas for it, but I just, because I'm so busy on the comic most of the time, I just don't find the time, you know? Now this year, I'm gonna put a stop to that. This year, I have an entire list of plans that I have for drawing. See, at first I thought, oh my god, what am I gonna draw for spooky season this year? Because I knew I want it to be illustrations, because I love drawing illustrations. I want to get back into drawing just art pieces that you know, can be viewed, that still have a story, but, you know, are just fun, because illustrations are fun. They take 3 hours to do, but they're really fun. So, this year, I could probably write it out so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You know, I'm gonna close all these because it's getting a little full in here. I could show you. Yes, I do have plans to finally design Isaac, my pumpkin-headed, headless horseman. Now, this is a few of the sketches that I have. I do know, I kind of wanted him to be more greaser / biker gang inspired, but I could never figure out how to get it to work. And then, later, I was like, ooh, with the Headless Horseman, or like Ghost Rider, that'd be really cool to have like a Ghost Rider OC, where it's like a pumpkin, but there's like bits of skull peeking out with the flames and the rib decal, but I also couldn't figure out how to get it to work, and here's my attempt at drawing a bike. We mourn the loss of sanity. So this year, I'm putting my foot down. This year, I am going to give Isaac an official design. If it kills me, it's going to happen. And there's another character that definitely needs a redesign. Mostly because of Toy House's copyright laws. And where is it? Lord have mercy, where is it? Okay, it's not there. It's not... Well, gosh and golly gee, where is it? I have his old design, Well, anyway, there's a character that I have that needs a redesign, and he's supposed to be a furry version of Jason Voorhees. Which, if you know anything about me, you would honestly be surprised that I haven't gotten an official design for him yet. Now, granted, I did adopt him, and this is the original adoptable that I got on Toy House. With this version and a furry version that, for some reason, I have misplaced. I have no idea where it is. And this is great as is, or it's really cutesy. This is fine, but I don't want to just have Jason but furry. I kind of want this character to be his own thing, but, you know, vaguely inspired by Jason Voorhees, because Friday the 13th is my favorite slasher film. I think the only thing I'll keep is maybe the green coloring and the hockey mask. But I'm thinking of making him actually, like, his weapon is a hockey stick. Kind of like, Ninja Turtles 2012 Casey Jones. You know, because that Casey Jones was genuinely a crazy, terrifying person. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. It was genuinely crazy. But the thing with these character design streams, I don't like designing characters on stream because of how much research I do and want to put into it, and just making snap decisions on stream is not my forte. If you know, if you know, you know. Other plans I have, I definitely want to do more fan art for my favorite creepypastas. Not just the My Little Pony ones, although I do have a list of creepypastas right here that I'm going to do fan art for. If you want to know what the list is, once I finish it, I will be posting it on my Tumblr to give you guys a little sneak peek. So if you want to get updates on plans and just some random stuff that I post there every once in a while, follow me on Tumblr. Linked in the About page. Oh, this is I definitely want to do. Now, Four Leaf Island, who is a streamer here on Twitch, also named Critter, is having a Draw This in Your Style challenge for October. Now, I don't know when or where they're going to post it, probably on Tumblr somewhere, and I definitely want to do that, because I love Four Leaf Island, I love Critter. I just started following them like 2 months ago. Yeah, I started following them during Art Fight, because they were streaming a lot of their prep and their actual art fights, and I'm like, oh good, finally, someone else who's streaming Art Fight. So I started following them, and I really like their art. It's so cute and kind of, very reminiscent of, why am I blanking on the name? Animal Crossing. God, totally blanked on that name. And I definitely want to do that, because I love the Draw This in Your Style challenge, and I also love their design for their Sona. Super cute. It's a little monster cat with 2 tails that look like paintbrushes. Smurgle style. And I'm like, oh, that's adorable. And it's an illustration, so I can't wait to go ham on the details. So I definitely will be doing that as soon as it's available. I also would like to do just some fun promo of drawing my Sona and a few of my other Sonas in their Halloween costumes. Now, I've never really dressed up for Halloween. Well, I did in school, and I'm probably not going to actually dress up in person, but I thought it would, you know, to experience the magic in some way, I will draw myself in a Halloween costume, telling kids to stay safe, if people are even still trick-or-treating. I'm going to pretend people are still upholding those traditions, because if you pretend it hard enough, if dreams can't come true, why not pretend? That being said, I also would love to do, or love to draw, some Over the Garden Wall fan art. This is going to be, like, these next 2 months are going to be a lot of fan art, a lot of spooky-themed fan art, and I hope that's the case. I have to sketch the stupid drawings first, which is going to be quite the ride. I will not be doing that on stream, because the sketching phase is so laborious. My throat hurts, hang on. Man, now it's cold, so it's not as good. Oh well. So yeah, that's basically the plans I have for this next fall season. Now, I will be including November in the fall season, but it's not going to be spooky season anymore. So I think November, when I'm not live November, I'm going to start working on my, what's it called? My vampire, werewolf story, Gatesville. I will be working on that. Now, the problem is, I want to work on it so bad. But it's not very stream worthy, because I'm just working on the scripts and whatnot. How I do have this other project that I will probably be working on in between writing. So, yeah, I almost completely forgot I had that idea. Yeah, I should do that. There's another project I will be working on as soon as my list... Now, here's the thing. Spooky season will not end in October for me. I refuse to let Halloween... If they're gonna push Christmas up until July, I'm gonna push Halloween as forward and backward as much as I possibly can. So, spooky season will continue until my list is done. And I'm probably gonna make one hell of a list. So it'll be done when I say it's done, when I'm done. So, as soon as I'm done with those illustrations, I will be working on this other project that I have almost completely scripted. It's not a video, guys. I will be working on another OC animatic. It'll be a direct sequel to my Meet Me in the Woods animatic that I made like a year ago by now. I'm really excited for it. I had this idea in the making. I don't have anything sketched. I don't have anything thumbed yet. I've just started working on the script for it. I picked the song. I know what the story is. I think I have an idea for the vibe, but since the song is slower than Meet Me in the Woods, the song that I've picked, which I will not be revealing, even on the stream, I will not be revealing what song it is while I'm working on it. You'll just have to guess until the video comes out. It will be posted on my YouTube channel. It's going to get copyright striked. I know for a fact, because it is a copywritten song. But if I stream it, I'll monetize it. So there. I haven't picked the style. I think the style for this animatic is going to be more colorful. At least in some bits, it's going to be much more colorful than the last animatic, which was kind of more grayscale, with the only colors being green and red showing. And that was because Meet Me in the Woods is quite the fast-paced song, while the song I've picked for the sequel is a lot slower. And I think if I have the frames moving in time with the music, it's at least going to be like 100 different illustrations with different different layers and whatnot. So it's probably going to be slightly bigger. It might take me more than 3 weeks to put together, but we'll see. Who knows? I'm definitely gonna, and I'm gonna work on that until it is done as well. And then once that project is over, I'm not sure what's gonna be worked on for the channel, because by then it'll be December, and I'll have to bring out my, winter-themed sprites as soon as I'm gonna have a lot. As soon as the equinox of any season hits, my assets are going to change. Yeah, definitely gonna do that. That means the summer sprites are gonna last the longest. Or at least it feels like they're gonna last the longest. So those ones I'm gonna have to go a little hard on. Anyway. If nothing changes. So those are the plans I have for future RuneSpace streams. The name RuneSpace is gonna stay because all of my social medias I have the name RuneSpace now. Runes Space. There's an S there. And it's just I'm just gonna have to deal with it. It's just gonna stay like that. This is my little area, my little humble abode. Is there anything else? I can show you my creepypasta. See, almost forgot. I do have a creepypasta OC that I almost completely forgot about. I haven't written anything for her. But I do think she needs to be... This is her older design. Hang on, let me bring up some better... Yeah, here we go. Oh, there's blood. YouTube doesn't like blood. Hang on. I've only called her Knife. Because, I don't know. I'm so creative. I forgot about Mental Haze. This is a different character named Sam. And the only reason I didn't include her art earlier is because A, I forgot about it, and B, I don't think I drew her specifically for Halloween or any spooky season. I just drew her in general because her story is very much summer themed. It's a summer-themed creepypasta. Same with, this one. Very summer-themed, because she's more of the proxy creepypastas, like the creepypastas, not just creepypasta in general. These two, in their lore, were sort of connected. Although I don't know if they still are. If I were to redesign their lore, probably will, probably won't. It's 50-50. So yeah, so far that's the list of things that are going to be going on for the future of this channel. That's all really I had planned for this stream. I know it's going to be a lot shorter, but I literally have nothing prepared to work on that I won't, absolutely lose track of time, because I need to be somewhere tonight, and I know it's only 12, and I have another 4 hours before I have to actually get ready to go. However, if I have someplace to be, I can't enjoy myself until I'm fully prepared to be there. The joys of being a time-blind, autistic, middle-aged person. Well, I'm not technically middle-aged because I'm 27, but, who knows? Maybe I'll only live to be 40, so who knows? Maybe I am middle-aged. Who knows? And yeah, that's really all the plans I had for today's chat. I mean, we could just chill and chat, but there's not a lot of people here. This is fine. My voice is killing me. This is why my streams aren't yap sessions. I'm just not used to talking this much. It's funny because when I was a kid, my parents would say, that I was a chatterbox. My childhood nickname was Jabberjaws. Which is funny because that's also a Hanna-Barbera character who is a shark. And I love sharks. Hilarious. I think, retrospectively, since Rosh Hashanah is the time of reflection, and I'm not going to make a New Year's resolution because those never really work, but looking back on what has happened this year alone, it was a lot of swapping faces since the last Rosh Hashanah. I had a, 2 or 3, I think it was at least 2 or 3, identity changes in a single year. And I don't really want to be like that anymore. Hopefully, this is... I don't want to say it's the last time I change, because change is good. It means that you're growing, that you're evolving as a person, but it does get a little tiring when, the reasoning behind why I'm constantly swapping sonas is because I swap faces because I get to a point where the face I created for myself gets unbearable. And it just doesn't fit anymore, and I metaphorically want to rip it off my skull. I know that sounds like a little, heavy, but that's how I feel. Hang on, I think I have a picture from my sketchbook. Which, if I ever get into therapy, I will definitely be showing my therapist that sketchbook. Because it shows a lot of my true emotions. This wasn't the first time I drew, the current design of Rune. I can pull up the first time I drew... Yeah. Oh. First time I drew Rune was here. And I drew this, and I was like, oh no. Oh no. I can feel it. And I wrote, "Oh, to be a fey druid with wonderful hair and mystic horns." Because on this page, I had laid out, what do I like? You know? What do I like, and what can be... how can I represent myself in a way that isn't too busy, but feels like an authentic experience to what it is to be me? Because I am a living embodiment of the song Iris by Doodle Dolls. I don't want the world to see me because I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And that has just been the struggle of my entire internet career. I made an entire video talking about how I have way too many faces over the years. And I want that to stop. I want it to stop. Because the fact of change is not bad. It's just the reasoning behind the change, why I'm constantly swapping faces, is bad. Because these are faces that I don't have to do this. I don't have to have a Sona. When I drew Rune Space, I thought that would finally be, you know, the face that stayed, because it was just my face in a cool leather jacket. But even then, it got to a point where I don't know. Maybe it was just the fall season, because that's what was really bugging me. I was like, okay, do I actually want this to be my new face? Or do I just really like the spooky vibes, you know? The cryptid core, the Fey Druid look. And it got so unbearable to where I drew this. So I'm sick of the face I force myself to wear. Yeah, this is exactly how I feel right before I design a new persona or a new fursona, because I just can't stand to wear that mask anymore. The mask doesn't fit. In actuality, that mask never fit. But here we are, once again. Last stream I redesigned. I didn't redesign. It was already designed. I drew this new PNG, and I'm really proud of how it turned out. It looks really good. And I do like it. I do love the mood, the mood-changing horns, which I want to showcase later, but I want it to, like, feel natural. Holy God. I'm not used to talking this much. But, yeah. I don't mind, recognizing when something just doesn't fit or just isn't working anymore. But in a way, this constant face swapping and face ripping, this identity, this destruction of identity feels very mental health issue. Like, I definitely should be in therapy. I can't afford therapy. So what do I do instead of therapy? I do this. I redesign my fake face for the world to see. I work on comics. I draw art. I write stories. I create. And sometimes what I create is really hard to look at, especially looking back, because it just reminds me of who I'm not, who I can't bear to be anymore, and who I miss. And it's funny because, and I did draw this because it was just super funny, my current Sona, the way I look now, is very reminiscent of my Sona. God damn, the flashbang of who I used to look like back in 2018. This was my Sona back in 2018. Some stupid vampire with cartoonish hair. This was, like, back when we first conceptualized Gatesville. This was, like, one of the main characters. This is what she looked like for the animation. This is what she was gonna look like for the artwork. Boobies. And it's so funny that I kind of came back to the eyeless design. So I drew I drew this and posted it on Tumblr, and I posted it with the caption, "It's amazing how far you'll go, only to end up exactly where you started." That's when I saw this, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this as a sign that this is what I needed to do. Because I've returned to my younger self. Now, 2018, I was still an adult because I graduated 2016. It took me 7 years to turn back to my 20-year-old self, but 2018, that was my best year creatively. In my opinion, looking back. I don't know if it actually is or was, objectively, but that's the thing. Art's subjective, so speaking on things objectively that are a reflection of people's souls, I think that's a useless topic, so let's not even bother. And this whole change, honestly... Did I delete it? Yeah, I deleted it, because I didn't need to keep it anymore. This whole change was brought on because I got a haircut. Oh wait, hang on, it should be in my trash somewhere. Where... How come I could never find my trash can? It's supposed to be in quick access, but I don't know where it is. Son of a gun. Oh well. This whole change of this new face was brought on because I got a haircut. And I really liked it. And this is kind of what it looks... Well, it doesn't quite look like this. But I do have bangs now. And if they grew out, they would kind of look like this. So for this new year, I want the face swapping to end. I really do. I want it to stop. But in order for it to stop, I need to find out the root of why it feels like something I need to do. Is it because the cats are fighting. Is it because I feel I have no control in my life, so if by changing my persona, it makes me feel like I am doing something new, and I do have some semblance of control? Is that why I do this? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Try not to end on a depressing note. If this Sona doesn't last more than 2 months, or at the very least a year, I'll... I'll let chat punish me. I don't know how, but I'll let them decide. I'll let them decide the next Sona. Fuck it. Hopefully this stays. Because I'm tired. A. It looks cool. B. And I'm just... If I create enough artwork and illustrations with this Sona, maybe it'll stick more. Because that's another thing that was really... Well, no, because I drew a lot of artwork with Rune Steelmorph back when she was more Cryptid Core. Well, back to the Cryptid Core now. I drew so much fan art. But that Sona lasted for a good 2 years. Or at least almost 2 years. Next update to the Sona would either be new art or hopefully a VTuber. But in order for me to get a VTuber, I need a new computer. Which I can't afford. But you can help! By donating as little as $1 to my Ko-fi. You're helping support this channel. Get us to 25 followers, and then maybe we could be a Twitch affiliate. So I can get subs. I don't know how people can, like, be on the internet and have the same Sona for as long as they do. You know? Like, I have no idea how people do it. Maybe I am just... Is it because I am just so uniquely damaged that no one else feels this way? Or does everyone else feel this way and they just thug it out? Either I am incredibly sensitive or life is just unbearable. I don't remember who said that. It was either Van Gogh or Kurt Cobain. I couldn't remember. Two completely different people, but I can't remember which one of them said that. I'm pretty sure. Because Kurt Cobain had a quote that was similar. It was very similar, and I think Van Gogh had a... Yeah, they both had quotes that were like that. It's like, oh, great. Both my idols. Like Kurt Cobain, Vincent Van Gogh, and Princess Diana. All three of them are my idols, whom I look up to. It didn't end well for those three, so hopefully I don't end up just like them. And I'll try not to, guys. I'll try not to. Anyway, here's to a new year, same old me, just hopefully a better mindset. Hopefully a better mindset. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna end stream here because my throat hurts, yapping. And the mouse is over here, second monitor. Hopefully this was fun. I think I had fun talking about my old art, looking back, talking about plans. That's the thing. In order to keep moving forward, you gotta have something to look forward to, I think. So as long as I can look forward to what I can bring and what I can do for the future, I will have no choice but to endure, to persist, to persevere, to another P word that means move forward. Anyway. This won't be the last you see of me.